In this presentation, we're going to record our month-end expenses within QuickBooks Pro, QuickBooks Desktop. Here we are in our QuickBooks file. We currently have the Open Windows open. You can open the Open Windows by going to the View drop-down up top and the Open Windows list. Let's first take a look at our Excel sheet to see what our objective is. We're going to record basically our typical kind of expenses that you might see at the end of the month. So we're going to record our telephone expense, our printing and postage type of expense, utilities type expenses, and then the supplies expenses. So if we were to record these, let's record these out in terms of just recording them in journal entry format, then we'll enter these into our system. The telephone expense, we would increase the expense just as would be expected. We're going to increase the expense here, expense then going up, and then the other side going to cash. So the expense goes up. The other side then in cash in Q3 equals, and then we have the cash. All right, and that cash is going down. So expense goes up, cash goes down. Same for the printing. We're going to say we have the printing. We're going to pay for the printing here. So we're going to say that we have the same thing, printing and postage. I'm going to say that we have the printing and postage in Q20 equals. Scrolling back over, we're going to be increasing the printing and postage by the 12.9. And then the other side going to cash. So we're up top in cash, F2 plus F2, and that's going to be the 12.9. So I'm just adding those two cash amounts up here, decreasing cash. Same kind of idea if we did the same thing to utilities. Let's do the same thing to utilities. Scrolling back down, we're going to find the utilities. There it is. We are in cell Q21 equals. Scrolling back up to find the utilities, there's the 9,100. Then the other side going to cash. So the other side going to cash. Scrolling back up, we're going to say F2 plus F2. Then we're going to pick up the other side going to cash, that 9,100, and enter. So there we have that. We have the expenses increasing, the other side going to cash. Then we're going to say that we have the supplies. So we're going to be on the supplies now. Same kind of idea. We're going to be saying the supplies expense down below is going to be equal to the 500. The other note that we're recording the supplies, we skipped it and went to the wrong account, that being the salaries expense rather than supplies expense. So they should be recorded to the supplies expense here. Other side going to cash. So cash being the other side, and it's going down, just to give us an idea on journal entry format. Then we're going to say we recorded one on account. So let's say we recorded this on account, normal kind of bookkeeping thing. This time we didn't pay cash, but it's a payable account that's going up. So now we're going to say, all right, the payable account's going up. Supplies expense down here is going to be increasing by the 4,500. The other side is going to be a payable account. So accounts payable in Q9 equals, and then we'll pick up the 4,500. So there we have that. And that'll put us back in balance down below. Now we're going to make an adjustment to these last two that are going to the wrong accounts. These ones in yellow, you can see that this one is going to the the salaries, and it should be going to supplies. So I'm going to go down there. We'll fix that. How we're going to fix it? We're going to delete the amount that's in the salaries. We're going to bring it down to where it should be in the supplies. I'm going to say equals and pick up the 500 and then plus the 4,500. And that should put us back in balance for the green accounts down below. So that's going to be our transaction. Now, most of these, of course, will be checks. We're going to basically enter checks to do these. These are kind of like the month-end type of transactions, fairly straightforward for a nonprofit. For profit, much the same, very similar. We just need to assign the class out, however. As we do the nonprofit, we're going to put it all to the one class now and then go back out and reassign those classes in the future. And we'll talk about that later. So we're going to go back into QuickBooks. We're then going to write a check. So we're going to write a check. We're going to write multiple checks here. And we're going to say that the first one is going to be, let's put it on the books as of the 30th. So put it on the books at the 30th. Telephone, let's say Verizon is our telephone company. We'll put an actual vendor name that makes more sense than our customers do here. And we're going to say quick add, and we're just going to make that a vendor. And then we're going to set up the amount, which is going to be 6,200. So 6,200. And then let's make sure we put it to our proper account. It should not be the clearing account, but the checking account. So I'm going to say okay. So there's our checking account. And then we're going to be on the expense side of things. We want to bring this to the telephone expense. We don't have one yet, so I'm going to put in telephone expense. Tab, set it up. Expense type of account looks good. Okay. And there we have it. The class we're going to set up is going to be for the unrestricted, and it's going to be fundraising. Then I'm going to say save and new, and we'll do this again. Save and new, and yes. And another check already exists. The check number's off because I had the other account involved. Save and new, and there we have it. So then the next one we're going to do is the printing. So printing and postage, same kind of concept. Back to QuickBooks, we'll set that up. Tabbing through here, we're going to say this is going to be printing and postage. Let's say it's from Staples. Tab, quick add, vendor, amount, 12,900. So we'll put here 12900, tab, tab, tab. And then we're going to call it printing and postage. Printing and postage. Tab, setting that account up, set it up, expense type, continue, and there we have it. And then we're going to say that the class is going to be the fundraising class, and then same idea, we're going to say save and new. Once again, yes, and let's do this again for the next one, which is going to be the utilities. So back to QuickBooks, next check, we're going to say our utility company is Edison. That's our vendor. Tab, setting up Edison. Vendor, the amount then is going to be for that 9,100, so 9100. We're going to then say this is going to be in the expense of utilities. It could be the electric bill. We're here. We're going to put it in utilities. Utilities, tab, set it up. Expense type of account. That looks good. Save it. The class is going to be for the fundraising once again. Then we're going to say save and new. Save and new. Next item is going to be the supplies expense. So we're going to go back over supplies. And that's going to be, let's say, Office Depot. Now, Office Depot, we already bought furniture and fixtures. So it's going to populate the account down here, which is wrong. Because we need to put it to supplies, not an asset account. So just be aware of that. And so that's going to be for the amount of 500. So we're going to say 500. And then this is going to need to go to the supplies expense account. So I'm going to create a new account. I'm going to delete this. Actually, do we already have it? No, supplies expense. There we have that. Tab, set it up. It's going to be an expense type of account, and continue and save it. Then we're going to have the class, which is going to be, I'm going to put it into fundraising. And then save and new, and yes. And next we have the amount that's going to be a payable. This time we need a bill, not a check. So I'm going to close this one back out. I'm going to close this out. This one's going to increase the payable, not decreasing the check. Therefore, the form to use is the bill form. We're going to enter bill. Looks a whole lot like a check. However, the bill means instead of cash going down, the payable is going up. This one I'm going to put to Home or Office Depot again. And tab through this. We'll say that the amount here is going to be for the 4,500. So the amount 4500, tab, 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 tab. And then the other side is going to be going to supplies expense. So there we have that. The class is going to be going to the fundraising. And then I'm going to say save and close, yes. And there we have it. Let's then take a look at our reports. We're going to go to the reports drop down. We're going to then go to the accounting and taxes, take a look at the trial balance. So give us the quickest look at what is happening. Tab 010120 to 123120, January through December. We see our printing and postage, our rent, our supplies, our telephone, our utilities. Going into the checking account by double clicking on that, we'll see all of the amounts coming out of the checking account down below, and closing this back out, the other amount we will see is in the payable. Here's the payable account. There's the payable. we could see that we owe that to Office Depot. If we had more than one person that we owed, we could see another report supporting this payable account by going to the reports drop down up top, vendors and payables, and then we check out the vendor balance detail report. Vendor balance detail will then show us a breakout of that payable account by who we owe, in this case, Office Depot. So, and then we could close that back out. So we're going to close that back out. Let's take a look at our profit and loss by class. Reports drop down up top, company and financial, profit and loss by class. And then we'll change the dates up top from a 10120 to 123120. And there's our profit and loss by class. And then in the unrestricted items, we of course have all of our expenses broken out here. We will be breaking them out in more detail in a future presentation. Meaning we'll break them out in accordance with these percentages. So the education, the community service, the admin, and the fundraising. And we'll do all that at one time and see how easy it is to basically go back in here and just assign those classes out.